You don't.
We already heard you.
I'm gonna forfeit the team.
We're
So
done.
shut up
We're
when the
done.
game's
We're
over.
done.
More crazy sports parents want to make themselves part of the game.
The game's over.
Okay. Atta boy, huh? Feel better? Hard.
I feel fine. You feel okay?
The umpire, seeing zero need for more abuse, calls the game.
I feel
You're
great.
taking a game for your kid. For what?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want to argue balls and strikes in a little league game? Come on.
And he has a point. After all, it's Little League.
He walked up like a man to you.
And this guy's a firefighter who protects your neighborhood.
Oh wait, he protects the neighborhood? Oh man, let him have it then. Hell, let him throw a pitch or two. Because you see, this is nothing new. It is an unfortunate trend that appears to only be getting worse over time. Ben Sherwood of the Times wrote in Laurel, Mississippi, an ump of a 12-year-old softball game was ambushed by a parent in the parking lot and hit in the face after the game. In Livonia, Georgia, at a church basketball game, a ref was attacked after the final whistle by parents and 8th grade players. Some 30 stitches later, the ref is recovering. Attacks have happened at a Texas baseball game, a Northern California soccer game, and a Colorado hockey game, where one parent sprayed a referee in the face with an industrial-sized can of Lysol. Well, as we have shown you previously, ref shortages are just becoming the norm because of parents like these. In December, KATV reported one amateur hockey association lost almost half of its officials since pre-COVID seasons. This particular league covers Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. They went on to write Massachusetts hockey has lost 900 officials between the print of this article and its pre-COVID seasons, wrote President Bob Joyce. From 2018 to 21, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, quit, said Dana Pappas, the director of officiating services for the National Federation of State High School Sports. New Hampshire lost a quarter of its hockey referees between 2018 and 22, while the Public School Athletic League in New York City said it was short about 90 officials in Brooklyn. This is a nightmare across all sports, Ms. Pappas said. Officially Human, an organization that promotes the respectful treatment of refs, conducted a survey of nearly 19,000 officials in 2019. Asked what their top reason for quitting would be, 60% said verbal abuse from parents and fans. Recently, the Times published these glaring stats. Some 70% of young athletes drop out by age 11, primarily because sports aren't fun anymore, and 80% of refs quit within 2 years. Some have called ref abuse a national crisis. More broadly, others have labeled youth sports a cauldron of yelling and hysteria. So how exactly do we combat this unruly parental behavior at youth sports to potentially save them? In Minnesota, one representative has proposed a bill aimed at deterring disruptions and protecting sports officials such as refs, as well as coaches and players. The legislation is considering a fine of up to $1,000 to discourage bad behavior from parents and other fans. The committee unanimously approved this proposal. Minnesotans already face criminal charges if they physically assault a sports official, but the bill would expand the situations where someone could face a penalty, that being financially. It would require people to pay a civil fine rather than a criminal one if they interfere with the game by stepping onto the field, throw something onto a rink or court, or swear at officials. Fans yelling about a perceived bad call is part of the game, the bill's author says, but this would address those whose behavior goes beyond that into inappropriate territory. The parents feel as though they have the right to berate these young officials, said Chris Rousseau, the supervisor of officials for the New Hampshire Amateur Hockey Association. In some cases, I've watched them make these kids cry. The problem is that, as parents spend more time and money on children's sports, families are coming to these sporting events with professional level expectations, said Jerry Reynolds, a professor of social work at Ball State University who studies the dynamics of youth sports and parent behavior. A 2019 Harris poll found that 1 in 4 parents reported spending about $500 a month on youth sports. As the Nebraska Referee Development Program brings to these sports parents' attention, just think about who you're directing your anger towards. 40% of refs here are in their first year. 60% are 17 or younger.